It is another episode of the Juice on the Cuse podcast. Wes Cheng alongside Jim Stechschulte. Thanks so much for joining us on this Thursday, April 24, 2025. We've got a lot to get to today. We begin today's show with the transfer portal. Syracuse landing Notre Dame quarterback Steve Angeli in the portal on Tuesday. Jim, after Syracuse lost A.J. Miller and Michael Johnson Jr. to the portal, the Orange reached out and got another quarterback. What are you thinking here?
The first thing the addition of Angeli does is simply adds competition to the quarterback room starting right away. The downside is it's going to lift the level of the back quarterback position for this season. We didn't see Collins play in the spring game, and Jakari Williams acquitted himself nicely, but I feel that Fran Brown he probably needs a little more support in the quarterback room in the event of an injury, and competition obviously won't hurt. Angeli profiles as more of a true pocket passer than Collins as well, so there may be some belief that having a quarterback more like Kyle McCord fits better to the offensive system. In any case, his addition gives the Orange two of the top 25 quarterbacks who are in the portal this year, and I just don't think Fran Brown and the Orange are in a position to pass up that level of talent, even when it is two players who occupy the same position.
Yeah, Jim, like you said, he's a top 25 portal quarterback. Rivals has him as the number 17 quarterback in the portal. And I like that Syracuse really worked their connections in New Jersey again. Angeli, a prospect out of Bergen Catholic in Oradell, New Jersey. And Angeli's head coach in high school was Vito Campanelli, the brother of Syracuse quarterbacks coach Nunzio Campanelli. So a lot of momentum for Angeli there heading into the visit. Only 772 passing yards in his entire career at Notre Dame, but he did look really impressive against Penn State in spot duty in the 2025 Orange Bowl, and also started the 2024 Sun Bowl against Oregon State. I like this move a lot, Jim, but assuming that Collins stays, this does open up a really interesting upcoming battle over the summer.
Yeah, bringing in Angeli and Collins in the same offseason certainly should create a competition between the two that will begin in earnest over the summer. You have to think Collins has a certain degree of advantage in that he's, while he is just transferred in, he has been with the program for a semester, including spring football. So he does have practice experience with the players, the linemen, the wide receivers who he's worked with, and he also has a couple more months in the offense than Angeli does. At the same time, Angeli does offer more game experience as he has 80 pass attempts spread over his 2 seasons at Notre Dame. Most notably, he has a couple high-level appearances as well. In the Sun Bowl in 2023, he completed 15 of 19 passes for 232 yards and 3 touchdowns against Oregon State. And then last year in the Orange Bowl, he completed 6 of 7 passes against Penn State. Like I said, this sets up Collins and Angeli for a competition in the offseason. We'll see how that shakes out. You could read a little into about how the players are profiled, and maybe Orange felt they needed some more help for, maybe they didn't think Collins might not be good enough. But at the same time, it's far too early to just kind of make a general effort to read into things beyond just there's 2 guys who have good pedigrees, who are different players, who will be competing for a spot at the quarterback's position.
Jim, we move away from the quarterback's room and into other parts of the portal. What else do you have for us?
The Orange have also been kind of busy looking for offensive linemen in the transfer portal. Austin Collins is the transfer offensive lineman from Louisville who's already committed, and they're getting a visit from Jalen Matthews of Rutgers, a 4-star prospect when he was coming out of high school. And frankly, the focus on offensive linemen is seemingly a never-ending scenario for the Orange. It feels like the line has struggled ever since they had a very healthy run in the 2018 season when they ended up winning 10 games, including the Camping World Bowl. The portal has exacerbated their issues up front with a couple of veterans jumping into it. David Wollabaugh and Enrique Cruz Jr. both decided to head to the portal and leave Syracuse, at least for now. As a result, Fran Brown has already added Collins, and they're trying to pursue Matthews to keep numbers up at the position, and including guys who, one guy who has proved he can fit in at the Power 4 level, another guy who was a 4-star in high school and was signed with another powerful program after being pursued by other ones when he was in high school. Collins has 14 starts in his career, and so they both have the ability to both actually could fit in and probably play for the Orange next year. But getting back to the baseline with it, simply put, the Orange just cannot have enough quality linemen, whether it's offense or defense.
Yeah, Jim, let me just touch on Matthews before we move on. That's someone who's really bounced around a bunch. He committed to Penn State for a long time before flipping to Rutgers before signing. And he spent a year there before entering the portal again. So NIL will play a big factor in this recruitment. And just moving away from the offensive line and into the skill positions, it's worth mentioning that former Texas and Washington wide receiver Jonte Cook visited Syracuse earlier in the week. They're going to have to beat out Arkansas and Arizona State for Cook. All indications are that the visit went really well, but I'm told there's no imminent decision until Cook completes his visits. Syracuse very much in this one, and they'll need to be because, as we know, Trevor Pena entered the transfer portal. So Syracuse is looking to lock in that number one receiver. And of course, Angeli wasn't the only commitment on Wednesday. The Orange also adding South Dakota transfer linebacker Gary Bryant III. In the 2024 season, he recorded a team-high 103 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble. That certainly addresses another need for the Orange, who lost Marlowe Wax and Justin Barron to graduation this year. And we will welcome Gary on after the break. This is the Juice on the Cuse podcast. Back on the Juice on the Cuse podcast, Wes Cheng here with you. We are thrilled to be joined on the podcast by one of the newest members of the Syracuse football team, linebacker Gary Bryant III. Gary, thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
No problem.
So, Gary, we'll get you started on this one. Congratulations on committing to Syracuse. What made you decide to pick the Orange?
It was just the culture, the people. You know, from all the other business I've been on, I just seen the people were very different. And they really, I really got the feeling that they cared about their players a lot there. And, you know, I felt like that was the best.
When you met with the coaching staff, what did they talk to you about?
They just told me that, you know, that they just need help in the room. And, you know, obviously nothing's given. It's going to be something that I got to earn. But, you know, I got a shot to come in there and make an impact.
So I know you met with Coach Fran, Robinson, and Wright. What did you think of them?
No, I think they're great guys. I think they're down to earth. They're passionate and they care about what they do. I think they come to work every day with the same mentality, with the same personality. And I think they got a lot of good stuff going on right now.
You're coming off a great season at South Dakota State, over 100 tackles, one of the top linebackers in the portal. What type of athlete is Syracuse getting?
Oh, yeah, Syracuse is getting a smart, instinctive player. Well, I play with passion. I play with grit. You know, my overall goal is to win, and everything that I do in my life aligns with winning, wherever that you know, takes place. And I mean, it's just getting somebody that's coming in with the mindset that we're going to try to build on what they did last year. You know, had a pretty successful season last year, but they didn't quite win the conference, and that's what I'm trying to come and help them do.
I know you're a Maryland guy. Did location factor for you in your decision?
No, not at all. I mean, my main thing was just finding the right overall fit. You know, somewhere where I got a shot at winning the job, somewhere where it's good people around me that's going to push me to be my best. I mean, when you have good linebackers, it always takes your defense to the next level. So I feel like, you know, what them two guys leaving, Marlowe and JB, with them two leaving, that's huge pieces that they got to be replaced in order for the defense to be successful. And I feel like that's where I come in at. Because not every place is like that. Obviously, you know, I visited some other places, great coaches. You know, I've been counting a lot of great people, but nobody quite made me feel like the coaches at Syracuse did. You know, it made me feel at home. I was comfortable, and I felt like that was somewhere that I could continue to grow.
And Gary, we'll get you out of here on this one. For the Syracuse fans listening, what message do you have for them?
I want to tell them that the journey just getting started, and we got a lot more to accomplish, and we're going to do that this year.
Gary, thank you so much again. Gary Bryant III, congratulations again. Looking forward to seeing you in Orange this fall.
Thank you.
Gary Bryant, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take one last break, but still to come, we've got some transfer portal talk, but this time on the basketball side. This is the Juice on the Cuse podcast. Back on the Juice on the Cuse podcast, Wes Cheng alongside Stechschulte. Jim, we're right at the end of our show. You got a closing thought for us?
Seems like the transfer portal action will never end for either the football program or the basketball program at Syracuse. The Orange of the Hardwood are looking into Jared Valencia, a forward who played 2 seasons at Monmouth and is in the transfer portal, who has visited SU. He's a skinny build, 6'9", 190 pounds. He's a stretch 4 and has a decent combination of shooting touch and athleticism. Didn't shoot as well this past season as he did as a freshman, but he has made 37.9% of his three-point shots over his 2 seasons, while he hasn't had a massive number of attempts. He's not a pure stretch 4, because evidenced by leading Monmouth in each of his 2 seasons in dunks. He had 24 this past season, but 52 as a redshirt freshman the year before. He also did post pretty nice block rates in each of his 2 seasons, but those numbers were a little less impressive when they faded against higher caliber foes, so he may not be a big shot blocking threat if he does end up with the Orange. He would face, in that case, he would face an uphill battle to earn time as a reserve 4 or center for SU. But that shooting touch would make him a possible weapon in certain matchups, just because it's something that the other centers on the roster don't offer. In any case, he'd probably be a fringe addition toward the back of the roster, developmental player who might see a few minutes here and there for the Orange.
Yeah, Jim, that would be a nice addition to round out the roster. Again, to your point, not a guy that's going to be a showstopper, but depth is always helpful when you can add it. And Jim, wanted to close the show on the women's lacrosse team. They were ultimately eliminated in the ACC tournament quarterfinals by Stanford. That's still weird to say. And the final score was 15-10. The bright spot here was Emma Ward. She recorded her 165th career assist, so she's now the Orange's all-time leader in assists, breaking Katie Rowan's record. Just a disappointing season for the women's lacrosse team, but congratulations to Ward on her record. That's it for us. For Jim Stechschulte, this is Wes Cheng. You've been listening to the Juice on the Cuse podcast presented by Believe in Rivals, and we will see you next time.